Then, in
Well,
that case, all right. Thank you.
no, one more,
One
Joe.
more. I'm just trying to be more confident. Damn it. But how do you see yourself as a theatre maker? Yeah, I don't know, right? I think I'm so used to being an actor. It's like so much about how people perceive you that it's almost like, is it relevant how I see myself? But isn't it, that's kind of central to the question in fault, right? It's like you have to be able to see yourself in a certain way. You can't just be what people see you as. Still figuring that out. Let's move on to the next question.
How do you think people can relate to fault? Whatever you just said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I think that we have Singaporeans. I, as a Singaporean, have a major identity crisis. You know, you go overseas and you're like, are you part of China? And you're like, no. And then you're like, actually, why am I ashamed to be part of China? You know, I'm Chinese as a Chinese Singaporean. And also it's like, no, I want to, no, I'm not, we're not from China. You know, like, I can talk. Like, my English is really good. And like, why? Why do I have to talk in that way? You know, why can't I just speak the way I speak? Why am I always trying to ally myself to something I perceive as better or higher quality or more civilized, you know? Yeah, I think a lot of us have identity crisis and myself as a person, you know, I'm always worried about how people see me. How can I be secure in myself? I don't know whether this is oversharing. I mean, I had a sort of accident where I went to a doctor friend at the time to treat my acne scars, and he temporarily, I hope, disfigured like part of my face, and that was devastating for me because for me it was such a huge part of myself and as an actor that I had so many bad thoughts and I did not know how I could carry on. And actually my husband was like, to me you're the same person, why can't you see that to yourself, you're the same person? And I don't know. Until now, I'm still trying to find that security in knowing who that kernel is, that kernel of truth, in myself. How about you, Tze Chien?
No, I think for me, fault really exposes the vulnerabilities and the insecurities of being a Singaporean, and sometimes we are not aware of it until we are away from Singapore. Where you just have to be yourself, but who are you outside of the geographical definition of who you are, the cultural markers? And I think Singapore being so small, and not many people actually know where Singapore is or what Singapore is. Whenever in the play, it's really about a Singaporean finding herself in this big cosmopolitan society in London, where she's being confronted by her prejudices, mindsets, and everything else. And I think ultimately it's about the insecurities of being a Singaporean. And I think Jo, for me, really captured that very, very well.
Thank you. Do you feel comfortable being in your own skin?
Yeah. I mean, what else do I have?
Wow.
Okay. You work with what God gives you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Am I? I don't know. I
No, it's very good.
It means a healthy male ego.
No, I didn't.
Although interestingly, I realized that sometimes I read somewhere that when a male or my gender look at himself in the mirror, he tends to look at the things that he likes.
Oh, is it?
And then whereas the female is the other way around, where they see the flaws, whereas the male will see the things that, these are quite good.
But I think it's also social conditioning.
Is it?
Yeah, because you get like normal looking male role models on film and TV, like craggy faces, kind of thing, and so you like, there's different types of attractiveness, whereas women are just like skinny, porcelain skin.
You have to be that.
Yeah, especially in Asia, I think.
Yeah. But are you comfortable?
No, not at all. That's why I was quite amazed. I was really amazed when Tze Chien was so quick to reply. So there's somebody behind the camera who's also like nodding. I think it's quite, I think maybe it's a male-female thing. A lot of women are not comfortable in their own skin. Yeah, really, they're always like,
just overconfident.
No, it's good. It's good. What a happy way to go through life. That's why I need hypnosis. Like what people need, maybe it's not so much.
But I think what's more important in life is confidence. Yeah, I think if you wear the confidence, you be attractive to people and to yourself.
You really think so? Have you not met confident ugly people?
But I think, yes.
They are more.
but-
They're less ugly than you.
yes,
will be.
yes, yes, yes.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
Well then,
Okay.
in
Well.
that case, all right. Thank you.
No, one more,
One
Joe.
more. I'm just trying to be more confident. Damn it. Still confident.
Okay. How
Okay.
does language affect your daily life?
How does language affect? Oh wow. How does it affect? I mean, I know daily life affects my language. How does maybe you go first? Let me have a
No, I
think
think
about
maybe we underestimate our ability to code switching.
it. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't realize how I can talk in different way to different
try.
people. No, to you, I talk to you in this way, right?
Okay.
But with Joe, I tend to talk to her in this particular way. But
Right.
if it's someone else, I tend to just nuance my language
Right.
accordingly.
Mm.
And you don't realize it until you meet or you're in a room full of foreigners. And
Mm.
you're able to kind of detect those signals and
Yeah.
be able to, not to put on a false accent, but be
Yeah.
able to nuance your language appropriately so that you can communicate
Mm.
and bond better,
Mm.
and using language to facilitate
Yeah.
that conversation.
It's funny, and I think I was having this discussion with somebody as well. I feel that Singaporeans are very skilled at code switching in that way. Whereas I feel that this may be a bad example. I don't know if you were American and you just come here and you, whoever you're speaking to, you speak to them in the
Yeah.
same way because it's a sort of supreme confidence that I do not need to adapt myself to be understood. Or you should understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know,
so we are
something.
very adaptable in that way.
Yeah.
So like I spent the last 2 weeks rehearsing with my Japanese class.
Yeah.
So without my translator, sometimes in the room, I would have to use my broken Japanese
Ah.
and just go into gibberish and say this.
Or like
konnichiwa.
Japanese accented
Yeah,
English.
and then when I turn around and speak to my production manager, I speak to her in a certain
Yeah.
way, and then I speak to my actors and Singapore actors.
Yeah.
So you don't realize how we are so adaptable
Yeah.
in these situations. I wish we could be a reality TV program and just
Yeah.
put us in that space and just make us be aware of who we are. And that's why I think that's what makes us Singaporean.
That
Going
is
back to
true. That is true. But how does language affect your daily life? What about the flip side? I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Flip
What
side
is
of
language?
things.
Well, okay. So I suppose. Sorry, I thought of an answer.
Yeah.
I answer first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think So how does of course, so we shape our language according to how we might be perceived. You know, like I suppose even if it's just to be more adaptable in an international situation. But so if you are not able to shape your language in a way to do that, then people perceive you in a certain way as well. And I think there's a tendency of a lot of people, not just Singaporeans, but people who are native to a certain country, when they receive foreigners or they meet foreigners who don't speak as well as them in the language that they're comfortable in, there's a perception that they're slower, that they're less civilized, and it's just because they don't communicate in the way that you are used to. They could be rocket scientists back home, but I think people can be very quick to jump to conclusions about you based on your language. And I think that's something, of course, that Jeanette feels that she has to compensate for by putting on different accents and different characters.
Which the play actually captures quite well.
Yeah. So, I mean, like being in Japan, did you feel like you were less able because of your language ability?
No, I think because I think English is becoming more and more a global language.
Right.
So you can get by in Japan if you have limited Japanese. But I think but there's a truth in how people judge you based on your language abilities as well. And that is something that has to do with the human condition as well, because we tend to be very judgmental.
Yeah, and also depending on what language, like, you know, if somebody can speak Chinese very well, but then people still be like, I don't know how to speak English, you know, kind of thing, like, why? You kind of think, come on, man, colonialism is over. So, Hi everyone, please do come and watch my play Forked, starring myself and directed by Tze Chien. It's a play about identity, accents, belonging, and being Singaporean in the big world. Tickets available on PTix, so do come and watch the show at the Drama Centre Black Box.